a city of style and culture, where the people not only appreciate top-quality sporting entertainment, they demand it. The rain in Spain has fallen intermittently here throughout the morning, but thankfully it looks as though it's drying up now, and the stage is set for more drama after the veritable soap opera at Le Mans last time out.
If in the future doesn't happen anything, it's not a problem for me. But in the future happen something with you, will be a problem.
Okay, I will be arrested.
Well, he hasn't been arrested yet, but following that spat in Estoril, Marco Simoncelli was in trouble again last time out at Le Mans, and he's fast becoming MotoGP's very own pantomime villain. Round 4 was a feisty affair all round. The first blows were landed before the race had even begun. Casey Stoner taking exception to Randy de Pugnet pulling out in front of him during the warm-up. Stoner was also one of a group of riders, along with Lorenzo, Dovizioso and Barbara, who went to race direction over the weekend to complain about the riding style of Simoncelli. But it was Lorenzo who could have been accused of punching below the belt when he barged his way past Dovizioso early on in the race. That incident paled into insignificance, though, in comparison with what was to come.
Pedrosa's down! Simoncelli issued the challenge. Pedrosa tried to respond and he's chucked it away.
Simoncelli was then handed a ride-through penalty, which scuppered his chances of a first podium finish. Things were a lot worse for Pedrosa, though, because not only did he fail to pick up any points, but it was later revealed that he'd broken his right collarbone. Meanwhile, Stoner cruised to victory and Dovizioso held off Rossi in the battle for second place. Valentino, though, was more than happy to secure his first podium for Ducati. Unfortunately for them, even that was overshadowed.
I try also to leave to him some space to do the corner, but I think that he did a little mistake, and his bike hopping a little bit during the break, and he arrived a little bit out of idle line. He touched me on the back. I tried to pick up the bike, but he crashed, and I'm so sorry for this and for the point I lose.
Well, there were Marco's thoughts on it immediately after the race, but after 2 weeks off to reflect on it, a team press release has come out and he said that he apologises, recognises where he went wrong, and that he'll try not to do it again in the future. Steve, Charlie, you've both had 2 weeks to reflect on it as well. Have you changed your minds on the matter?
I haven't. I reckon Simoncelli hasn't either.
No, I don't think so. It's a bit like your mum telling you go round and apologise to your mate when you've done something wrong.
Experience of that,
I
Steve.
think that's all come from his bosses, maybe from someone in Honda, and also his own team. He doesn't want to get a huge reputation. He's got a bit of one already, so he wants to get that sorted out quickly.
Let's have another look at the crash itself. We saw a couple of camera angles at the time, but this graphic animation really
of course,
tells
he's
us
been
what happened.
passed by Pedrosa at the corner before. He's got back past him. He's on the outside. He's fast in there. He's on the right line. I think Pedrosa let the brakes off a little bit. That's my feeling, and I'm surprised that the organisers didn't look at the data first. They're both looking for the same piece of track. That's normal in racing. He's gone round there, but I still think it's a split. I don't think it's all his fault. And unfortunately, the big penalty for Pedrosa was that broken collarbone. And he is fragile. We know that. That was the bad part for Danny, is the fact that he's so injured and he's out of the racing here.
Yeah, we should cover that actually. Of course, Danny out of this one, and a big doubt for Silverstone next week as well. So a real shame for him at his home race here. But Charlie, I think we're all agreed generally that it was sort of 60-40, the actual race incident itself. But the decision from race direction to impose a ride-through penalty still splits opinion here.
Yeah, that's the big part of it. That's the political bit. You have to remember the corner before, Simoncelli had got past Pedrosa. Pedrosa then got back past him, heading down the back straight. So they both knew where each other was. I mean, they were racing each other flat out. So, yeah, I agree with you, Matt. Yeah, 60-40 is about right. More Simoncelli's fault. The key was, and Steve made this point when we were commentating on the race, it was actually the finality of getting a ride-through. It's not as though they docked the points later on. It's a really big call. You can't undo it.
Yeah, this is not the ideal circuit to be coming to afterwards, obviously for Danny because it's his home race, but especially from Marco Simoncelli. The crowd here in Formula One, for example, have a history of not being too sympathetic to foreign riders, let's say.
No, it's like he's got to bring his dad with him. We talk about mums telling you to go and apologise.
Yeah.
Now he needs to bring his dad with him. He's a big lad. He'll look after himself, I'm sure.
He's got a bit of previous here at this track as well. I think 2009 he made a rude gesture to the fans, but Jorge Lorenzo, of all people, his harshest critic, has actually been and asked the crowd to just settle down and cut Marco some slack. So that's nice to see.
Well, that's not nice to see. He just proves that he's going to have a career in politics when this is over.
You just want to see
what
them
an
each other up.
imperious, condescending gesture from Jorge Lorenzo, starting the whole thing, painting Simoncelli as a corner.
He can't do anything right for you, Charlie, can he?
Well, for goodness sake, he started it all, portrays Simoncelli as a nutcase. Simoncelli then does this, so it's perfect for Jorge. He then says, let's be nice, let's cut him some slack, poor kid.
Yeah, but we do want the racing on the track. You know, we've had enough of the kind of...
It is ironic. These guys have got previous from the 250s, but since the 800s came in 2007, they came in supposedly to make the sport more safe, dropping the capacity from 1000cc, but actually it's made it more dangerous. We've had more injuries, more crashes than ever.
We actually spoke about this at the end of the 990s, saying that the 800s won't be any safer. The people will fall off more, and they are doing, because the corner speed's higher, the braking area is less, so it's all being done in a smaller area, and the electronics, what they've got on them, and it's making it so that they've got tiny areas to make the passes, so they are all looking for the same piece of track at the same time.
Yeah, well, that was a topic actually that Valentino Rossi touched on in the pre-event press conference on Thursday.
In the past, especially with the 500, from where you brake to the entry, you go more slow, and you have like 30-40 meters for make the overtaking, and you make also the corner a bit more slow. So all happen more slow. You have more time, and is more easy make overtaking. Now year by year, 800, Bridgestone, and also all the system for anti-wheelie and traction control. For me, make overtaking become more the limit, so you can the risk to make some mistake and also touch the other rider is maybe more.
Yeah, interesting stuff there from the doctor, as clinical as ever. But guys, we're going back to 1000cc capacity next year. Do you think that that'll take us back to some better racing? A bit safer, maybe?
More colour and movement, for sure. You and I talked about this before. The high side risks seem to get worse with the higher cornering speeds of the 800s. Maybe a bit more slide, a bit less technology.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing is we've now moved into this electronic world, and it's all controlled by electronics. So I actually don't think it's going to make a lot of difference. Back in the 990 days, particularly in the early days, they were monsters. They had none of the electronics. We saw big black lines sideways everywhere. Everyone got in a muddle, and then you could pass someone when they've got themselves in a muddle. Well, nowadays, I truly don't think it's going to make a massive difference, apart from hopefully we're going to have a lot more bikes on the grid.
Yeah, and of course the overriding emotion really from France, we should say as well, there's got to be sympathy for Dani Pedrosa. The guy just can't catch a break, not the right kind anyway.
No, absolutely right. As Steve was saying, he really does get the worst of it every time he crashes. His crashes come at the very worst part of the year as well, right before a run of very close races. And we're all the losers because we missed the great Pedrosa Lorenzo Stauss that we thought we'd have this weekend.
Yeah, it would have been great to have him back this weekend. I'm surprised he's not back. I really am. I think most other riders would have been back. He's fragile. He is really, unfortunately, he's like a fine piece of china when he breaks.
Yeah, it does take time to recover as well, doesn't he? He's had plenty of visits to the Clinica Mobile over the years, so as he has been around to dig out a full medical report.